So thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. Now let's get into this. So last night, promoter Eddie Hearn gave an interview with IFL TV, and he gave his 2 cents on the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury trilogy fight. Now, we've been hearing rumours about that fight happening in December in, I think, Las Vegas, if there's crowds. Alright, if there's crowds. But if there's not crowds and there's no gate, then potentially that fight will happen in February next year. So literally a year after the second fight, after the rematch, we might get the trilogy fight. Now, if things had been normal, we might very well have got that trilogy fight in July of this year. Might have already happened if things had been normal and if all the what hadn't happened. But obviously we're not in that situation now. What Eddie Hearn has come out and said in the wake of that, 'cause I think it was Bob Arum who said that if there's no crowds in December, it will get pushed back until February. What Eddie Hearn has come out to say is that he would like that fight to just get scrapped altogether. Now, that's Eddie Hearn wishful thinking, I think, because obviously they're contracted to fight. You know, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, they signed a contract with a rematch clause. You know, it is what it is. Deontay Wilder, although I personally don't think Deontay Wilder is necessarily keen on the rematch, he has a lot of people moving his strings. You know, he's a lot of voices in his ear. So Deontay Wilder probably has to take the rematch. You know, he has to go ahead with it. But personally, I think if it was up to him himself, he probably maybe want 1 or 2 confidence builder fights before going straight back in there with Fury. So Eddie Hearn's saying that he wants that fight cancelled in an ideal world, because that way he could actually do Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. And he said, and I'm quoting him here, he said that he could either do it in Saudi Arabia. Okay, now, I'm not sure what way they are over there with the lockdown and with crowds. If they're allowed crowds in, you know, so be it. Or he'll do it in fight camp. And that to me, like, that's amazing when you think about it, right? Because you're looking at Frank Warren, right? And you think Frank Warren is trying his best to get Dubois Joyce BT Sport pay-per-view. He's trying his best to get that. He needs fans for that fight, right? He needs fans to get a gate to make anyway decent money. Eddie Hearn can still do pay-per-views behind closed doors with good names and still keep it on pay-per-view behind closed doors. Frank Warren can't do that. And Eddie Hearn, a fight like this, saying that if he had it, if he could get this fight over the line, Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury, provided of course Dillian Whyte gets Triple which is no foregone conclusion, he could still do that behind closed doors. I mean, it just goes to show how much ahead Matchroom are in terms of just their finances overall over Queensberry with regards to everything pretty much. So Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, happening in December. Honestly, like, it's just like, it's hard to say. Well, with everything that's been going on, it's just hard to say if we'll get crowd. Come December, they probably will have crowds, but it won't be full. February next year, I mean, people, God only knows. I mean, the difference a day makes, let alone a year. You know, I mean, look at me. Like, the difference a day can make for me is vast. The difference a year can make, well, I've seen what a year can make for me. What could it do for the rest of the world? I mean, God only knows. So, with regards Fury and Wilder, you know, I'm not screaming out for that trilogy fight. I don't really want to see it again. I've seen it twice. I've seen Fury win, in my opinion, twice. Don't want to see it again. I would rather see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury, and I agree, I can see where Eddie Hearn is coming from and said that he wants to make that fight. It's a big money fight, especially if it happens, like, if it was happening in the UK and you've got fans, you're making good money, very good money. You know, might even be a stadium fight, but you know, I think it's wishful thinking on Hearn's behalf. You know, very wishful thinking, because Deontay Wilder, he's going to make a good chunk of money for that Fury trilogy fight, and that is what Shirley Finkel, Al Heyman, JDs want. They don't give a shit about Deontay Wilder and his, you know, health or anything like that, or his well-being. They just want that money. They just want to cash out on this guy. And I think if it was up to Deontay Wilder himself, he'd probably just maybe take 1 or 2 easy fights, then go back in with Tyson Fury. I'd rather see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury, even if it was in Saudi Arabia or if it was at fight camp. But in terms of what Eddie Hearn's saying, I think that's wishful thinking. You know, wishful thinking on Eddie Hearn's part, that fight will get cancelled. Legal implications, everything that's going on, I just can't see it. I just can't see it. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know yours down below. What do you think? Would you like to see Wilder Fury get cancelled? You know, do you think it will? And if so, Dylan Whyte versus Tyson Fury. That's a decent little compromise. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, of course, if you are new to the channel. And as always, people, before I go, people, thank you for dropping by the channel. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the video that you just saw. Remember, please like and share. It really helps me out. I do have Patreon as well. You can go over there. There's some podcasts up now. Go and have a listen if you like it. All well and good. Thanks a mil for all the support, people. I will talk to you.